The EU is rewriting the rules of the internet. Next week, a new law will take effect that will take a lot of power away from big tech companies. Basically, things like you only being able to download iPhone apps from the App Store will be gone. The walled garden approach that Apple has, for instance, will have to crumble down to a certain extent, allowing users to download apps from wherever they want and allowing the developers to use any payment processor that they desire, so that they don't have to pay Apple's 30% tax, for example. That and a lot more is part of the EU's Digital Markets Act that hopes to make things more fair for everyone. And if you enjoyed these tech news, please leave a like and maybe consider following this channel. So this new legislation from the EU seems like a very big deal. Now, of course, it's going to depend on just how it's going to be implemented, but at the very least, it seems very promising because it will bring a ton of great things for users and developers, for example, which I'm not going to be going over all of that in this video because there's just too much, so I'll be going through some main points. For instance, users will be able to gain the ability to basically download apps from the internet and third-party app stores. Now, this is a really great big deal because right now how it is set up with the App Store on the iPhone, for instance, is that you cannot download apps from anywhere else, and that is a big problem. Because let's say you offer some sort of a service and you offer it at some sort of a price. Well, if you are going to be offering that application on the iPhone, you're going to have to go onto the App Store and then you're going to have to use Apple's payment processor, which will tax you 30%. Now, you might think, okay, so we can just increase our margins, our price on the iPhone. No, you cannot do that. You need to offer the exact same price that you offer everywhere else, and you are not allowed to tell people to, for instance, go to your website and sign up for the subscription over there. So for instance, if you're offering a subscription at $5 and your margins are pretty much, I don't know, let's say 30%, right? And now you offer this service on the iPhone, you're gonna have to give that 30% to Apple, so you're not really gonna be making any money at all from these users. So gaining the ability to be able to download apps from any app store that you want is great, of course, and also developers will gain the ability to basically use the in-app payment processors, you know, whichever one they choose to use. So this will really sort of break up the walled garden approach that a lot of companies like Apple have on the industry, where, you know, they're just a monopoly. You know, like if you don't agree with the rules of the iPhone or the App Store, you can't really do anything. It's just all Apple, you know. So in late March, the EU will basically create a list where they will label a lot of these big tech giants as gatekeepers, and they will basically just take a lot of control away from them. For instance, hey, you are no longer able to have the only app store available on this platform. You are not allowed to only advertise your own products above everything else. It's just a ton of stuff that will just overall be really great for consumers and even better for developers that, you know, are smaller than Apple. And of course, if the EU implements these sort of laws, the solutions to, you know, not be breaking the EU law might be very global. For instance, you know, Apple probably isn't only gonna allow European iPhones to have apps downloaded from different app stores. You know, it will probably be a global, worldwide thing.